And now what I'd like to do is introduce Daniel Price, the CEO of Breadware.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Interrupt Sports Tech 2019. Let's see, this thing, does it come out? It does indeed. So yeah, I just want to say big thank you to everyone for coming out, for braving the traffic to be here today. I want to say big thank you to Eric Sanchez for organizing this, and thank you to our sponsors for helping bring it all together. You know, in the room today, we have just the absolute leaders in the sports technology field in LA and around the country for that matter. But we've got tech executives, we've got community leaders, we've got startups, we've got team representatives, and we've got athletes that are absolutely leading the packs in what they do. And what we're here today to do is to take a step and look at what's going on the frontier of these different sports industries, these different sports leagues. What's new and exciting that's happening right now, and what are we looking at? What can we see that's coming around the corner in a year or 2 or 5? And so I want to start by telling a story. Just earlier this week, actually, I came across a sports technology product that I didn't expect in a location that I didn't expect to see it. And it took me aback at first, and it really it solidified for me what we as sports technologists need to be focusing on in the products in order to be successful in this new wave of innovation. And where I came across this product was in a rock climbing gym. Now, I feel compelled in this location we're at now, where some of the best soccer in the world is played, some of the best athleticism in the world is exhibited, to let all of you know that I keep myself on a diligent routine of going to the gym, at least once a month. Sometimes, when I'm not tired, I'll go that month. And I don't really like the normal gym, so I'll go to the rock gym. And I find that once a month is just enough time for me to feel good about myself for going, but it's infrequent enough that I don't have any of the positive benefits of actually going to a gym. The advantage, though, of going to a rock gym once a month is the walls will get sort of recast. All the routes will be rebuilt every month or so to keep it interesting for the gym goers, right? So there's a different route, and for me, I'll show up and it's kind of like a whole different experience every time I show up. So I show up there earlier this week, I think it was on Monday, and to my surprise, one of the rock walls internally had been removed, and it was replaced with this square. It was about 12 feet wide, 12 feet tall, and it was on a lever arm. And it was absolutely covered in rock handle grips, right? Those kind of fake faux grips that go onto the rock walls. And there was checkerboard pattern, so many of them, so dense that you could hardly see the wall. It was just all these rock grips. And some of them were lit up. And it was clearly the new toy in the rock gym, because all the climbers were surrounding around it. And what was interesting is they weren't looking at the rock wall themselves. They all had their phones out. They're all looking at their phones. And maybe that's not weird. This is 2019. That's just how we interact with each other these days. But they're all looking at their phones, and I realized that they were controlling the rock wall, right? They were able to set the incline of the wall, and they were able to pick a route. And based on what route they picked, different rocks would light up. And there were thousands of possible rock climbs on this 12-foot wide by 12-foot tall wall, all the way from very simple to humanly impossible difficult, right? Just on this one wall. And here I am. I owned an IoT company, and I thought, guys, really? An app-controlled, internet-connected smart rock wall? Do we really need this? But then I started talking to the staff that work at the gym to kind of understand the economics behind why they bought this wall. And they're explaining to me that, well, since you have it, now you don't have to have the employees and the staff go and rebuild the rock walls every day or once a week or however frequently they do it. And that gyms that incorporate these walls well can save $100,000 or upwards just by that human labor cost. And the rock gyms make $500,000 to $1 million a year, right? So that's huge savings for them. Additionally, this wall, since it only goes up 12 feet, it was much safer than some of the bouldering walls that they had that go up to 20 feet or so. And third, the climbers had much more opportunity, much more flexibility in terms of what they could climb, right? There were thousands of options in this one wall relative to just 5 routes that you might have on a static wall. So, that was interesting to me. And when you boil it down to what the value drivers behind this new product that this gym had incorporated were, there were 3, right? Engagement, new engagement for the rock climbers, safety for the rock climbers, profitability for the gym. So these are 3 core axioms of sports tech products, particularly the modern wave of sports technology products. And And I want you to pay attention as the rest of the speakers talk today. These three axioms, engagement, safety, and profitability, they manifest themselves in different ways, in different types of products, in different fields of sports, dedicated to different venues or athletes or coaches. But these are central tenets that all sports technology products are going to be focusing on. Maybe not all hit all three, but absolutely all are going to have one, likely two. Products that have all three sell themselves. So pay attention to that as the speakers talk throughout the day. And I'll take a move to the left a little bit and talk a bit about myself. I've got a really cool job. And it's because I get to work with businesses that are at the cutting edge of their fields, building the new products and kind of innovating for the next 5 or 10 years. Right? So I get to be part of that process of figuring out what they need to incorporate into these products, how they engage new technologies to build something very meaningful. And so Breadware is an IoT product innovation company. We work with businesses that are planning, building, launching, or incorporating Internet of Things tech into their business. And over the last few years, we've been involved in 400 or so IoT products and 10 million or so IoT units that got deployed. And what's really rewarding for me is back in 2014, I would go and tell someone, yeah, I do IoT product development. And they're like, you do what now? What? You're a high-tech bakery? No, Breadware's not a high-tech bakery, though we do make some baking products. But zoom forward into 2019, I tell people I'm in IoT product development, and they get it, right? Oh, wow, that's cool. And it's because we've now entered an era where we're living in the Internet of Things era. Many of you are probably wearing watches on your hands that are connected to the internet. Probably several of the folks in this room have Amazon Alexas in their living room. Most of us in this room have smart TVs and are no longer weirded out by having to type a Wi-Fi password into a TV before it'll work. Right? That's weird. But, we do it now. So, Internet of Things is really just the concept that there's value to be gained by providing intelligence and connections to products that we wouldn't have thought to do so in the past. Rock climbing walls, for example. Now, I'm going to provide a framework for thinking about IoT that some of this you in this room may have heard before, but I bet many of you haven't. And I'm going to provide this framework because it'll be helpful as a sports technologist to think about and sort of vet new technology in this way. And it'll also be helpful to set the context for what some of the speakers will be talking about this morning and this afternoon. And that's that there are 4 levels of IoT products, just in terms of the complexity of IoT products. And there's sort of a pyramid. So level 1, enables level 2 type of IoT products. And then level 1 and level 2 enable level 3, and so on. You can't have level 4 without the ones below it. It's very similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs for the human, right? Like, first, survival. If you're not surviving, then you're not worrying about your social calendar, right? But if you're surviving and you have a social calendar, well, then you might worry about your career goals. And then, only having all those can you be self-actualized, right? That's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So the IoT hierarchy of needs, you have level 1 IoT. This is sense over a distance. So being able to expand beyond our 5 human senses to be able to engage connected sensors to have information we couldn't have otherwise. Who's got modern home security systems, right? Yeah, so this is exactly level 1 IoT, right? You're able to know by checking your phone if your lights are on, if your door is locked, if your garage door is open. Level 2 IoT is slightly more complicated. This is control over a distance, right? So this would be if your door is unlocked, you could lock it. But my favorite example of level 2 IoT is what's actually called the Vinci Robot. So the Vinci Robot was what enabled the first ever transatlantic open abdominal surgery. There was a doctor on one side of the ocean that had a certain very specific set of skills. There was an emergency patient that came up on the other side of the Atlantic, and the doctor was able to do the surgery on the patient from several thousand miles away through the Da Vinci Robot as his hands. So that's level 1 and level 2. Level 3 IoT is what's called autonomously controlled products. So this is the combination of sensors and actuators that are able to react intelligently to their environment. So the classic example, level 3 IoT, would be a self-driving car. And then at the very top, right, the self-actualization on our IoT pyramid here is what I call aware, networked, intelligent environments. So this would be spaces that incorporate, all of these types of sensors, actuators, intelligent IoT products that, when put together, are able to respond to you as a human, as an individual, and provide a personalized experience for you. And what's exciting to me about hosting this sports technology event here at the Dignity Health Sports Park is that stadiums and sports venues are absolutely going to be the leaders in level 4 IoT, in intelligent spaces. And the reason why? Well, it's because in order to get people out to the games, you have to compete with the comfiness of our couches at home, right? Our big screen TV and the refrigerator stocked with beer right there, right? The stadiums have to provide an experience to the fans that are coming here, right? That engage them with the team, that engage them with the game, that they can't get anywhere else. And it's also cool to be hosting this conference here just a couple miles away from the new Rams Stadium that's being built, right? For those of you who don't know, the Rams Stadium being built over by the airport is going to be the most technologically advanced stadium ever built. It's also going to be the most expensive stadium ever built by the NFL. But it's absolutely going to be a leader in this Tier 4 IoT and an intelligent networked space. And when you break it down, the products that are within it are going to be products around engagement, safety, and profitability, right? The space is going to be built around making the fans more engaged with the game, making the space more safe for the fans and the players, making the stadium more profitable for the owners. So I want to circle back around to how I started, say thank you so much for being here. There really are amazing folks in the room today. So as Eric said, I want to echo, please, 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 during the breaks, during the lunch, during the happy hour, make some connections with folks that you haven't met. If you don't know who to meet, come up and talk to me. I'll set you up with a blind date with someone. It'll be great. I like to joke that Internet of Things is about connections between devices and data, but it's not possible without connections between people, right? Like what are going to push these technology innovations forward in the world of sports. So I'm hoping that some of the connections made today will help leapfrog some of the new technology innovations for tomorrow.